Oh crap, I forgot to put the music on.
Oh no.
Alright, cool. Should we plug it in the freaking Crusaders Discord?
Oh no.
What did you say?
You want to plug it in our team's Discord?
You decide.
Sounds like a no from him.
No.
I just I'm some scrub who got dragged along for 5K. Yeah, I didn't even see that you said that you didn't want to play, or like you were considering not even wanting to anymore. I was like, I gotta get my guy on board now that I'm in. I didn't go for 5K. Right.
5K.
Okay, where the viewers at?
1 minute in, where all the viewers at?
You know it. Look at our this beautiful artwork we have for the cover here.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that's Hyder's idea. Is like, hey, you should put a Gastrodon face on the page. I was like, bet. I found this beaut. Look at that facial expression. The Gastrodon's just in like pure shock. Like that's got to be like what the Gastrodon coaches are gonna look like if they make it through their playoff bracket into Quag playoffs.
Into our league.
Alright, who's in the chat? Let me see where we all at. Hey, we got Zippy in here. What's up, Zippy?
That's one. And this one.
Hey, let me know how the volume ratios are. I tested them, but you know, we'll see. All right, so I guess before, like, while we're waiting, I guess we could chat about like our thoughts on the drafts overall. Zippy says the volume stuff sounding good. That's good.
Hi, Zippy.
Yeah, I definitely think that
Chippy.
these drafts were kind of interesting. This was way easier to rank than the Quagsire drafts.
We
didn't really disagree till that kind of the end of it.
Yeah, I think that also has to do with a change in one of the analysts.
True.
That is true. That is very true.
But yeah, like ranking these was a lot harder. Well, not harder, a lot easier, because like I feel like all the people in Quagsire division are there for a reason, you know. But some of these people in Gastrodon division are like really strong players. You know, you have people like Hato and Gareth who have done very well in the league in the past, but are, you know, a little rusty. Or some of the new people, I think, were definitely threats. You know, some people had a championship winner, maybe two. But some of the other people, you know, are just people's friends, or you know, people who were here from past seasons. who you don't know. Like there's a real mix of known factors who are now dealing with a different pool of players and completely unknown factors.
It's kind of like season 2 where no one really knows each other in that pool for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with a little more knowledge. But yeah, it's an interesting mix for sure. We got a decent amount of people here. I think we should be ready to start. Before we get into this, what's up, Alex? What's up, Odin? What's up, Mango? What else you got in the chat? Yeah, Hydra's in there. I just want to give a big congratulations to Hydra and I guess myself, because you know that's how we roll. For getting picked up for the DPL.
We did it. We did it, boys. We did it.
KSL gang.
Pro
You
League
know,
now.
this league's going places. You
Time
know,
to play Joey.
yeah, we put we're on the biggest stage in the format. You know, and we're out here repping. You know, trying to make our name for ourselves, not only as players but also as a league. You know. All right. With that said, I think yeah, we're still waiting on Zaberb here. But we're not waiting on him. Yeah, myself here, Hydra, and Blaze. You guys want to say hello?
Hello, I'm Hydra.
I'm Blaze.
All right. Well, this beat bangs. All right, let's get into the first team. So in 12th, in the Quagsire, JK, not Quagsire, Kirby Street League Season 5 draft rankings for the Gastrodon division, we have none other than Folksy and the FC Barbarical getting 12th place from all 4 analysts. A little bit of an oof.
Very oof.
Yeah, a big
kind
oof.
of an odd team.
It really is.
Does anybody have anything nice to say?
I like the Z user.
It's unique. I would like to say it's very unique team.
I just use Komodo and Celesteela Season 4, so I can relate to those some, but other than that...
Why do so many of his Pokemon's names start with A?
Araquanid, A Raichu, A Sandslash, Amoonguss.
Alright, let's get into the issues with this team. First off, there's like a lot of duplicate typings that end up stacking some pretty significant weaknesses. I think Ice is probably the one that stands out the most, because he has, 3 flying types, 4 if you count Gyarados before Mega Evolution, and 2 dragons as well? Yeah.
Yep.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, Como and Zygarde, yeah.
Yeah, so double dragon, triple flying, kind of quad,
yeah.
And this team's ice resists are Araquanid,
Raichu,
Gyarados after it Mega Evolves, and Alolan Sandslash.
Pretty much.
Is it? Alolan Sandslash is a steel type as well.
Yeah.
Wait, no, he has a substitute. Never mind. I'm just dumb. But he has 2 rock setup, which is Como and Alolan Sandslash, which it's not really that great.
Yeah, like his top steel type and his ground type, neither of them get rocks, and then he didn't get like a psychic rock setter or normal type setter.
His ground type is also very weak. You know, Zygarde 10% is not eating many hits.
Yeah, with the triple flying, and then the pretty frail ground type with that 4 times ice weakness. The electric types are definitely gonna run through this roster. I mean, Amoonguss and Como are decent electric checks, but he's gonna get volt switched all over.
Yeah.
You know, especially if it's an electric type that outspeeds Zydog, because like the thing's just gonna get OHKO'd by any stray HP ice.
Striker.
Yeah, it's 116. Zygarde's 115.
You're right. You're right. This actually low-key supports his team.
Some other things to note is his hazard removal is pretty poor. It's what, Togekiss, Moltres, and what, Rapid Spin, Alolan Sandslash.
Sandslash?
He has Moltres, but that's not really.
Yeah, but like two of his hazard removers are like really bad at it. Well, like Moltres is a decent defogger depending on the matchup, but in a lot of matchups it's horrible. Like, how is this team ever going to defog on something like Rhyperior?
Yeah. Yeah, Togekiss is really the main removal it's left up to.
And then other thing to note is it's really slow.
Yep.
Like Zydog at 115, and then there's what, Alolachu at 110. And
that's
then
all above 100. Everything else is below.
Yeah, and then it really drops off from there. And like those aren't even good Scarfers because those Pokemon have really weak base attack stats. You know, like Dog is either Bandit or D-Dance. That's basically only 2 sets.
In his defense, he does have webs, but whether that's a big help or not is.
But like there's not really much that abuses it. There's not really a lot that abuses webs on this team. Like the best thing is like Como and maybe Moltres, I guess. But other than that, there's really nothing that really takes advantage of it.
Yeah, it just seems like this team's gonna lose the Hazard War, and it's gonna get hit, and it's like very poor defensive synergy. Just sort of picked apart. I don't really see what this team has going for it, other than having some, I guess, decent setup mons. Things like Celesteela, Como-O, and Mega Gyarados. Zydog, I suppose, as well. Like I think like that's probably his best way of winning some of these matchups is gonna be cheese through with setup.
All right. Moving on.
All right. Yep. So next up in 11th place is going to be. First, we're gonna say hello. What's up, Gareth? What's up, Alex? I forget who 9 Life is. All right. Yeah. Let's move on. In 11th place, we have none other than Grubbins and the Colorado Cherubi. So Grubbins is new to the league this season. He's going to be rocking a roster of Z Manaphy, Loba Ninetales, Roserade, Aerodactyl, Z Meloetta, Kecleon, Mega Pidgeot, Garchomp, Scizor, Crustle, and Golurk. And he's got a score of 11th from all the analysts. Ooh, we lost somebody there.
Oh, rip Hydra.
Alright, well, what do you have to say about this team right here, Blaze?
I mean, off the bat, he has 5 Mons above 100, and then 5 Mons like below 65. It differs greatly.
I don't think it's quite that. Yeah, because Roserade and Meloetta are in the 90s.
Yeah, and
Scizor is 65.
It's just a massive drop from there.
Yeah, big drop from there.
So, yeah, Scizor, Golurk, and then Crustle thing. Yeah, and Kecleon, of course.
It's definitely kind of awkward in those speed tiers. Looks like he's really going to get abused by Pokemon like the base 80s with the plus attack natures. Which is like that's like average speed, so that's a pretty significant cap.
It is.
No, he's not going to like threaten. Like the only thing threatening like defensive mons around those speed tiers is like Scizor as well for like having to run any speed. So that's kind of unfortunate. There are some things I liked about this team. Namely, like...
I mean, I like the concept. I like the concept of it. Like, it's kind of like hyper offense with Manaphy, which isn't bad, of course.
Yeah.
He has really good setup options.
Yeah, it does. But I think it's a little too offensive, to say the least. I don't really think he has a dedicated defensive Pokemon.
Yeah, he really has no backbone. Like, his bulkiest Pokemon is Kecleon.
Manaphy. I think
Uh,
Manaphy's bulky.
Oh yeah,
Kecleon
Manaphy,
has
but
recovery.
Manaphy doesn't really get recovery.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Scissor can be defensive, I guess,
Yeah,
and Rose Raid.
I mean, there's Tank
they
Chomp,
aren't
but
really
again,
bulky.
like,
Yeah, it doesn't really have the recovery.
yeah, Zippy's saying Fire type. Where you at? Yeah, no Fire type on this squad, so it's definitely gonna leave it a little more Ice weak. Though he does have his own Ice type for a resist to that.
He has the best draft league format mod in history.
Yeah,
Right.
it looks relatively Fairy weak as well. In terms of switching into like
Scizor
Fairy
doesn't-
plus Fire rips through this team since it's yeah, Roserade and Scizor are the Fairy resists.
Yo, Fairy Fire, Gen 8 incoming.
Oh, the best type.
One of the things to note, he has double bug, double flying, triple normal.
Ground.
God, he has triple normal.
Yeah, triple normal, yeah. Why does that triple normal?
Yeah, so this team's really fighting weak. Yeah, triple normal, Fairy doesn't resist fighting, Flying doesn't resist fighting. The Poison type is Roserade, which
Yikes.
isn't very bulky on the physical side. Yeah, neither of the Flying types resist fighting. The Bug type. Neither of the Bug types even resist fighting. What's his fighting resist?
Wow.
Yeah, his Psychic type doesn't. It's Roserade and Golurk.
Oh.
Golurk versus the world.
Aha. Aha.
Yeah, so he's just
I'll
gonna get
give you that
spammed with
very
CC, basically. He's about to have to ring Golurk every week. Just like, yeah, CC plus knockoff
Mango,
just
is that you?
beats down the whole team.
Mango, is that you?
And it's not even a Palisand.
It really is.
If he had Palisand, he'd have a better shot.
His removal is also
Zippy says this guy wanted Rhydon instead of Golurk.
Oh my god. oh no.
Yeah, I too love
remember that.
Roserade being my only fighter.
Yeah, because I think he put Rhydon, but then we were like, yo, that literally got picked before you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the only other note I have to say about this team is its removal is pretty bad. It's what, Scizor,
Yeah.
Aerodactyl, and Mega Pidgeot.
Yeah,
That's
nothing
correct.
that really wants to.
And two of those like really can't fit that ever. I mean, Aerodactyl can,
Yeah.
but it's like major 4 move slot syndrome to do so, and really limiting it from its potential. And with Pidgeot, you have to like drop a U-turn.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we're ready to move on.
Sure.
So in the 10th place, we have none other than Mango in the
Mango.
Bangkok Bound Suites.
Mango.
Yeah, in
He
10th
doesn't have
ranking
weather
from
this time.
everybody. So his rosters can be Z Thunderous T, Reuniclus, Incineroar, Flygon, Mudsdale, Z Regice, Mega Lopunny, Tapu Fini, Sceptile, Escavalier, and Coppergigus.
He really took Romeo's Tapu Fini out here.
He did.
Yeah, that made one of my predictions come true. Mango, I don't think you should be celebrating that it's you right now.
So the first thing I noticed about his team is, like Mango's team last season, he only has one rock setter, but it's a lot better this time in Mudsdale. But the fact that Mudsdale is only rock setter is pretty bad, and I guess he upgraded it with a Toxic Spike Kofaku as well. But only have 2 headers that is pretty bad on this team.
Yeah. And his main removal is probably Fini.
It is, yeah.
Flygon's a pretty decent
Flygon's
defogger.
pretty good. It is.
Yeah. I don't know if Thundy gets defog or not.
It does.
Yeah, but yeah, his team does look quite weak to hazards. There's a lot of Pokemon that are either like weak to Stealth Rock or like lacking in recovery. You know, look at Pokemon like Mudsdale, Incineroar, Escavalier, Coppergigus. Yeah, looks like he's gonna be pretty weak to Volt Turn on the whole as well. I mean, maybe not the Volt Switch part since he has 3 electric immunities, but I could definitely see U-Turn being spammed, especially since like his physical bulk can't really afford to run a Rocky Helmet. They need the leftovers because he's like super knockoff weak. Just, like look at all his walls, like none of them get the move Recover Bar or Uniclus.
And that thing is reaching up.
Yeah.
It's also very slow.
Yeah. And, like there are some like Trick Room setters, but I feel like he could use better abusers for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't really have
like
a fantastic Trick Room abuser other than his own Trick Room
it's like a Scavalier.
Yeah.
Or like Coffergeus itself, or like Reuniclus. Like his setters are his best abusers.
Yeah.
But like I would have liked to see, you know, a really strong slow Pokemon, you know, something like a Crawdon, for example, could have been pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought of a Crawdon about this team, and it looks pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. There are some things I actually like about this team as well. Namely, I think Regice is a really nice low-tier Z captain. Especially with like Rock Polish sets, access to really cool moves like Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon, and Focus Blast. And then the other thing I really like is his Fairy Dragon Steel Core has pretty decent synergy.
Yeah, I was gonna point that out.
Between Flygon, Finny, and Scavalier, with the exception of Flygon actually being pretty dependent on its dragon moves for damage output.
That's another thing. With Finny around, having a levitating dragon isn't really that ideal as well.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Flygon might be forced into like a U-turn machine.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like his team could use like better Trick Room abusers, better hazard setters, and then like probably like a Wish Passer. Like instead of something like Reuniclus on this team, I feel like something like Uxie would have made a lot of sense. To provide some of the utility options he needs. Overall.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and then he could have fit like a strong Pokemon in Tier 2. Oh yeah, and one other thing to note, his fast Pokemon, which are Sceptile, Flygon, and Thundurus, and the Megalopunny, they're all pretty weak to some common priority moves, namely Ice Shard. So
yeah.
And then Megalopunny weak to like Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave. Anything else?
That's all.
Alright, so in 9th place, I think we have something of a jump here in terms of like the quality of drafts, if I remember correctly.
Possibly.
Alright, no, I think like overall this probably has like 5 kind of bad drafts, 3 sort of middle drafts, and then 4 really good ones in my opinion. So we still have 2 more of the bad or the worst drafts.
Right.
Next up we have in 9th place Zach and the Florida Furrets. This team was going to be way lower until he picked up Mesprit.
until he picked up his first Frogger.
Yeah. So he's got 9th overall. The roster of Z, Kieran Black, Florgs, Galvantula, Shaman, Gastrodon, Z Poliwrath, Mega Scizor, Arcanine, Snorlax, Alolan Persian, and Mesprit. So he has made a couple transactions, because his original draft didn't have a Stealth Rocker. I was like, pick up Mesprit and probably Gligar as well, but he didn't get the Gligar. Which, Mesprit also gave him his first ground immunity.
I like his,
and then he got Poliwrath instead of like Primeape.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah, Circle Throw is obviously the best fighting move.
Circle Throw.
Oh, you're right. Circle Throw. Oh, yeah.
He is. I mean, off the bat, he's pretty fighting weak. I mean, a fighting type can easily run poison jab for Florges and knock off from Esprit, but like Snorlax, Persian, Jerome.
There are a couple standout mons on this draft that I thought were really good fits. Alolan Persian, I think, is really taken advantage of in this draft. Some bulky breakers like Kieran Black that really appreciate the momentum, or some strong setup options with things like I could see this team actually taking advantage of like Belly Drum Snorlax much better than a normal draft would be able to, for example. Or like SD Mega Scizor as well. And then Arcanine's a fantastic fit on this team. It really pairs well with the Kieran Black to help stave off the threat of fire types. But especially since he has double bug, I feel like he's really reliant on the Arcanine and I guess Thick Fat Snorlax as well to deal with offensive fire types. Like, wait, what's his water type?
Gastrodon and Poliwrath.
Yeah.
I mean, Gastrodon eats some hits. It's a thick boy.
Yeah, like I feel like a Pokemon like Infernape just kind of runs through this entire roster.
Yeah.
Like I think that fire types that can deal with Arcanine specifically are going to be a massive issue.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
I like his Dragon Fairy Steel Core with Kieran Black, Florges, and Scizor. Gives him some nice wish support.
Yeah, some nice defog support for Kieran Black as well. Some momentum for the Mega Scizor, but the one thing that does stand out from opting to go with one of the Scizors to pair with Kieran Black is your Steel type doesn't resist Rock. So his Rock. Yeah, what's his Rock resistance is looking like? It's Poliwrath and Gastrodon.
The thing is, so it's water type, so.
Yeah. Is there a rock grass type? Cradilly. Cradilly 6-0s.
Cradilly? I mean, he has a big Scizor.
Zippy's pointing out he only has 2 defoggers. And Florges and Mega Scizor.
That's really
Definitely feel like he sort of just ignored that entry hazards were a thing besides sticky webs.
He really did.
Speaking of webs, like Galvantula and Persian are his only Pokemon above 95 speed. No, Shaman's at 100.
Odin says Cradilly wins.
Oh yeah, no poison type either. Yeah, he's very hazard weak, I think.
All of his mons are grounded, right?
Yeah, except Mesprit.
Not Mesprit.
And then another thing to note is I feel like this team has very limited wall breaking. Like it feels like Kieran Black and like I guess Banded Snorlax. There's only real wall breakers here. So like I would have liked to see better pressure put on Steel types to pair with Kieran Black.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Poliwrath getting brought much. I'd say maybe once or twice at the most.
Yeah, so overall this
Maybe
team
only
I think
once.
just has very poor like resistances to some key offensive typings. But it does have some strengths going for it, which I think is what puts it over some of the previous drafts. So that should bring us to our 8th option, our 8th ranked team. I think this is the last of the bad drafts. It's going to be Gemini and the Montreal Floettes, getting a score of 8 from all the analysts, having a roster of Torn T, Z-Move, Slowbro, Donphan, Alola Marowak, Tangela the Goat, Z Guzzlord, Mega Gallade, Zeraora, Klefki, Weezing, and Z Audino. Z Audino in both divisions.
And both C-Mons. The power.
I feel like there was a lot of hype behind Jimny going into this draft. It's baby Kohanks. He sounds just like him if you've ever heard his voice. He's even using one of
Was he?
Kohanks' logos. He was hyped up as this ladder god, but this was very clearly a better draft than all the ones before him. But
Agreed.
I think
Yeah.
this team's just kind of missing some things. What do you guys think?
It's 6 of his mons are below 60 speed.
Mhm.
So it just feels very slow. And the rest, it's like 121, 30, 50, 45, 60, 43, 110, 143, 75, 60, 50.
Yeah, it's once again like a weird mix of lightning fast offense and then like trick room level slow Pokemon. Except this team doesn't even have.
Yeah.
I mean, what his trick room setters are Slowbro and Mega Gallade. I don't know if Audino gets it.
I think Dino gets it. So I think he only drafted it because he gets trick room. Another thing I also want to make note is that his two Steelbox set is Donphan and Alolan Marowak. And I think, Klefki gets spikes and Weezing gets T-spikes. So I feel like his Steelbox are kind of low in a sense. And Alolan Marowak isn't really the best rock setter. So I kind of feel like he's kind of forced to break Donphan every time if he wants rocks.
Mm-hmm.
His Dragon Fairy Steel Core is Guzzlord and Klefki.
Oh, that's a good call.
One thing to note is I feel like he does have really good balance breakers on his team. That Tornty Mega Gallade core that has been very hyped recently in the draft community. Alolan Marowak, Zero Aura, and Slowbro actually pretty good at breaking through some defensive cores as well that you see in like more balanced teams. But it does feel like with the exception of Alolan Marowak, his team doesn't have too hard of hitters. Okay, Mega Glade and Tornty hit pretty hard, but I feel like he can lose against very bulky teams.
He can definitely.
Yeah, especially if you look at the matchup of like Clefable against this team. I feel like this team would really struggle to break it.
Yeah.
I will see that.
Especially if it's like a Mega Glade can break Clef, but it's kind of difficult. It's like you need like 2 max rolls Poison Jab. And he has pretty good physical bulk on his team, I think, is one of the big perks. Between Slowbro, Tangela, which is a really nice regenerator core. Donphan got some good physical bulk.
Yeah,
Yeah, Weezing as well.
For Audino as well, Audino.
Mm-hmm.
Audino, yeah.
There's the
4 region ones.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, triple regen core. Some other critiques is he's really hazard weak, I'd say, even with the regen. Because what's his removal? It's Torn, Donphan, and Klefki. So it's not the worst.
And Tonti.
Yeah, and I feel like he's really weak to T-spikes since his poison type is not grounded. And then on the whole, his team's really status weak in my opinion, like more so than a normal team.
I agree with that.
I feel like there's so many Pokemon on his team that are completely hampered by 1 or 2 or even 3 different status. Like Tornty doesn't want to take a T-Wave, a Toxic, or even a Burn. Slowbro doesn't want to be Toxic. Donphan doesn't want to be burned or Toxic. Tangela. Yeah, I feel like he has really nice regen in his defensive core, but for such a defensive team, apparently he's mostly a semi-stall player, but I feel like he's really weak to some of the really common approaches to break semi-stall with things like status or like taunt, because his defensive Pokemon are weak to status and are really slow. I feel like if you look at some of the more elite premier walls in the format, think of Pokemon like Toxapex or like Clefable, they're not weak to Toxic, and they keep up pressure a lot better than a lot of his bulk does.
he has 3 electric immunities with Marowak, Donphan, and Zeraora.
And another thing is, like, while he does have great physical bulk, he's really lacking in the special bulk. Like, Torn T is probably like his best special wall. In like Assault Vest Slowbro.
Yeah. I mean, you can run like AV Donphan and stuff, but that doesn't get recovery. So
but he needs that to carry rocks every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
So that's the issue. That's the issue.
Yeah, Cohanks, I'm not doubting if Gemini's a good player or not. I'm saying, like, this team could definitely be a lot better.
Without his strap.
Anyways, the 7th overall, and here I think is where we really get into, middle of the pack drafts. This will be Alex Cool Rocket in the Wisconsin Whimsicott, getting a ranking of 7th from myself, Hydra and Blaze, and 6th from Zaverb, rocking a roster of Tapu Koko, Milotic, Kirim, Bronzong, Komala, Golbat, Mega Absol, Z Infernape, Nihilego, Z Rotomo, and Palisand. What do you guys think?
So the first thing I noticed about this team is that it was kind of like I was kind of helping him with his draft, and I noticed while helping him that he was somewhat fighting weak at the start until he picked Golbat. But even then, the thing is that most fighting side would have knockoffs, and Golbat doesn't really appreciate knockoffs well. And Palisand is a pretty nice when it has Cola Berry, so it's decent at that. And Coco, I guess that's decent as well.
Yeah, I feel like Palisand is the saving grace of this team.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, Palisand honestly keeps this roster together as like one of the best fighting checks in the format. A premier rock resist, just overall really solid physical wall, good rock setter, reliable recovery. I feel like it'll do a lot of work for him this season and be a pretty consistent bring.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
He has 4 rockers. That's not terrible. Bronzong, Fernape, Nihilego, and Palisand. But his removal is mainly left up to Komala, Golbat, or Mo. Which isn't bad.
I mean, he does a magic bounce, and Coco is a decent.
Yeah, people say that Mega Diance's not switching into bounce back hazards, but Mega Absol definitely is not. Mega Diance can at least run Protect for some mind game shenanigans to like substitute. Mega Absol has the hardest 4 moveslot syndrome I've ever seen. It wants to run like triple Dark Stab with Sword Stance.
Hey, that's a good set. That is good.
Yeah, knockoff Pursuit Sucker Punch SD, best Mega Absol set. Let's see. I really like the Kirim pick as the Dragon type to go on a Coco team. It's a really nice electric check, which I think Coco teams really appreciate since the terrain powers up opposing electrics. Nihilego is a really nice flying resist for the team.
It does indeed.
Yeah, I feel like this team, with the Infernape, pairs really well with both the Kirim and the Nihilego by being able to beat down basically any steel type.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got really good mixed breaking power, which I think is pretty underrated in the format. It's like Pokemon that can hit hard on both sides of the spectrum, between Pokemon like Coco, Kirim, Mega Absol, and Fernape. Like, those can really, trip your opponent up. Pretty tough to prepare for. I think his team will be pretty good at dismantling a lot of balance scores.
I agree.
As a grass type, I think Zing Rotomo makes it a tad bit better, just because he has Leaf Storm as his signature move, which you get the -2 special defense attack drop. So at least doing Z Bloom Doom with that at least helps it a little bit. But
So yeah, we already talked about the fighting weakness. I think the other two standout downsides to his draft. I feel like his roster is pretty pursuit weak. He has some Pokemon that are a little lacking in the physical defense side, like Neoligo or Bronzong, which Bronzong, again, very important for this draft, I feel.
Yeah.
But then I think like the big standout weakness is a Mold Breaker, Earthquake / 1,000 Arrows.
yep.
Where's the resist?
Mhm.
I'll give you a hint. There is none. So like, yeah, Zygarde and Excadrill, or even a Pokemon like Haxorus can just do a number to this team.
Even stuff like Drudicon can annoy this team a lot with Moldbreaker Glass when it gets past Mega Absol.
But yeah, Druddigon, yeah, big threat as well, for
Druddigon.
sure.
Yeah.
You know, especially since like, yeah, Mold Breaker or Earthquake is able to hit both his Fairy and his Steel type super effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my Milotic does not beat Zygarde Zippy. Like, Zygarde will always win. You can't stop that monster. Like, the only thing that, like, always beats Zygarde is, like, Mew. Because you synchronize so you don't lose to the Toxic set, and Ice Beam so you don't lose to setup, and Speed so you don't lose to setup, and Will-O-Wisp so you can burn it. Like, Zygarde is such a menace in the format. I think like it's honestly still underrated. Like, it can beat basically anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and yeah, like SD Excadrill is still gonna like destroy a Milotic. You're not resisting Earthquake. Like something like Banded Drill, especially in sand. Yikes. Anyways, I think we're ready to move on to 6th. It's gonna be...
One thing to say is, I mean, this team is the first one where we differed on ranking, so it would have been nice to hear Zaboob's opinion on it.
Yeah, would have been nice if they were here. I wish you were here. Alright, so in 6th we have Romeo Dude
My son.
and the Tropiuses. Getting a ranking of 6th from myself, Hydra and Blaze, 7th from Saber, rocking a roster of Z Landorus T, Barrathorn, Lycanroc Dusk, Mienshao, Z Talonflame, Liepard, Mega Altaria, Rotom Wash, Luxie, Avalugg, and Gengar. First off, I just want to thank you for not drafting Tapu Fini, and lo and behold, for the first time, you're actually in the top half of the draft rankings.
Yay.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite drafts that he's made so far.
Mm-hmm.
Mega Alt is one of my new favorite Pokemon. Shout out.
Yeah, PCS has been interesting. So nice to have good things to say about Romeo's. Probably like my favorite thing about it is I really like his low tier picks, specifically the Avalugg.
Cool.
Like since his Steel type wasn't an Ice Resist, his Fire type wasn't an Ice Resist. Like Avalugg's a really clean pick here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
He has plenty of hazards. Lando, Pharaoh, Uxie, Lycanroc.
Even like, yeah.
And then removal, Lando, Talonflame, which isn't ideal, but then Rotom Wash and Avalugg, so.
Mm-hmm.
And Altaria, but that usually doesn't run wrong default. Yeah,
I really like the Gengar pick on this team as well. I think the special breaker is really appreciated, and with a lot of his offensive Pokemon are pretty straightforward attackers. Things like Lycanroc Dusk, Mienshao, and like the utility attacker that Gengar provides with moves like Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, Relegate, Substitute User, who's like Disable, and it's just a variety of coverage moves. I think it's really enabled to be a very productive member of this team.
He has nice momentum. A lot of U-tuners with Lando, Mienshao, Lipod, Rotom Wash, Yuxi.
And Talonflame.
And Talonflame, yeah.
And Talonflame, yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple standout weaknesses. Namely, I feel like this draft would really appreciate wish support between Pokemon like Uxie and Rotom Wash, which look really pivotal to this draft. And Ferrothorn not having the most reliable recovery. Like something like Assault Vest Tangrowth can really deny his walls any recovery.
Avalugg does the good recover though, right?
It does.
It does.
Yeah, the Avalugg's a really good pick.
Yeah.
I mean, Zippy, I might argue that Primarina is a better water fairy than Tapu Fini. Interesting things might be coming to that mon in the next season of KSL. Keep your eyes open.
Cool.
Let's see. I think this team is pretty Psychic weak, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because the Dark type is Liepard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Uxie and Ferrothorn are good resists, but they're like kind of taunt bait. It's like Psychic types that learn taunt, which I don't think is incredibly rare, but like the biggest one that's standing out is Mew. Like this team definitely struggles against a Pokemon like Mew.
Yeah, because I guess this team struggles with Mew in general as well.
This team's pretty weak to, yeah, as I mentioned, Ice Spam, but Avalugg's a pretty good answer to physical Ice types. I think special Ice types, like this is definitely a Regice sweep right here.
You Regice?
Yeah, look at Z Focus Blast Regice with Rock Polish.
Who had it? Was it? Oh, it was Mango.
Mango.
Right.
Mango, you better bring
Get
that.
ready. Rock Polish? Does it get Rock Polish?
Yeah, it does get Rock Polish.
Yeah. If only got Freeze Dry.
It gets T-Bolt though.
It does, but we
Has a Roar Veil.
Wash.
Set of Pale.
Oh.
Yeah, Regice's a threat.
It really is, but
And there's no way Lycanroc Ducks Oko's Regice. That guy's too thick.
you're gonna eat Mango. He's gonna eat.
Yeah, you better bring that set, Mango. Anyways, oh yeah, and Zygarde is of course an issue for this team. The Excadrill as well. Again, like Mold Breaker, EQ / arrows hits everything, at least neutrally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except for Mold Breaker EQ doesn't hit Talon or Lando. Yeah, he actually has decent checks to drill, but yeah, Zygarde is a really big issue. Avalugg's like his best check to it. I guess like a Cotton Guard Mega Altaria.
Coming week 3 of PCS. Hopefully no one's watching.
Anyways, I think we're ready for 5th. This will be the last of like the really middle drafts, in my opinion.
And I think that's where we differ the most.
Oh yeah, this is when we start. Is this when we start differing? I thought that was next pick.
Okay. Next is probably a bit more.
Yeah, 5th place is. Oh yeah, it's after this that we really start differing. So we do have a little change up here. So in 5th we have Gareth in the Glasgow Polytoads, getting a ranking of 5th from myself and Zaber, 4th from Hydra and Blaze, rocking a roster of Tapu Bulu, Sylveon, Nidoqueen, Empoleon, Z Beware, Z Togedemaru, Mega Charizard X, Umbreon, Swellow, Z Azelf, and Z Claydol. Oh my god, that's a lot of duplicate typing, but somehow it works.
This dude look at Zaboob's team and is like, why not change?
what to say.
So really, he has Togedemaru.
He has really good clerical options going on for his team. I will say, like he has 2 different wish passers. A heal bell user. No, he has 3 wish passers and 2 heal bell users.
Yeah, that's right.
Unlike Zavib's team though, where he had sand rush potential, a lot of these mods are all between like 60 to 70s.
You say Zygarde again, but this guy actually has Bulu and does, which is one of the better Zygarde checks, though it does lose to like toxic sets often, or Glare is also Glare Zygarde is definitely a threat here.
Yeah. Maybe like sub-toxic or sub-glare maybe.
Yeah, the main thing about status Zygardes is it doesn't really like synchronize users like Umbreon though. Like sub-glare DD, definitely a really good set here.
Yeah.
Sludge Wave does not kill Bulu. I don't know why people think this. Z Sludge Wave does not kill bulky Bulu.
I don't really get the Azelf and the Claydol pick.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he picked the Azelf for the nostalgia from Season 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, GG is Togedemaru, watch out. He does have some pretty good Pokemon for taking advantage of the grassy terrain, like Nidoqueen, Empoleon, Togedemaru, non-Earthquake variants of Zardex, though having Bulu does make Zardex have a tougher time against Pokemon like Toxapex, or Heatran as well. Yeah, I could definitely see Heatran being an issue for this team, looking at it.
Okay, deal. Please, peep chat in a sec.
Alright.
Max special attack.
Okay, that's max special attack modest Zygarde. Get out of here. You're not running that. I meant uninvested Zygarde.
Yeah.
But it kills. It kills.
And that still lives most of the time without rocks up.
Hey, it dies after rocks. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, you're gonna be like Alex Kulrock, where he like lets his Buzzwole get smacked by modest HP fly.
Oh, that's a good set. That's a good set.
Deck.
No, that was a set. I couldn't believe what I saw when I watched that video. Anyways, we gotta say more things about Garrett's draft and stuff about Zygarde. His team puts a lot of pressure on steel types, which I think is really good.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I think the team has actually good rock setters as well.
Yeah. Nidoqueen and Empoleon. I mean,
I think the team is kind of lagging in removal, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is not great with the Zardex team. It's what? Empoleon, Claydol, and Swellow? And Zard itself.
That's not it. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely feel like he has so many duplicate typings. Like, why wouldn't you get something else that can perform a different role? Like, I don't understand having Sylveon when you have Bulu and Umbreon. Oh yeah, Zardex is his only fire resist. Like, literally his only fire resist.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on his 4Z users all lower tier?
Oh, that's gonna be so tough to prep for. Z Togedemaru, Z Beware is a threat. Like, watch out for like Z Shadowclaw. Really great way to get around Ghost types.
Z Claydol though, my dude.
Claydol, what a joke.
Wow.
What's up? People think Bulu is bad. Bulu's a good Pokemon, trust me. Definitely better than that trash that's called Tapu Fini.
Nice.
He's an experienced Bulu user as well. This team definitely has a lot of similarities to his Season 2 team, which was also rather wonky, but he made finals, so Gareth can play.
Definitely can.
Yeah. I think this brings us to like the teams that we thought were really good. Like all these top 4 teams, I think, are excellent drafts. And like if I have one lower than another, it's just because I thought one was like even better. There's not too many gripes with these.
I can see that.
So with 4th overall, we have Zippy and the Kent State Golden Flash Cannons, getting ranking of 3rd from myself.
That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's why we have it shortened to KSG. Yeah, 3rd from myself, 5th from Hydra and Blaze, 4th from Zaber, with that infamous Zygarde 50% we've been talking about as a Z captain. Blissey, Whimsicott, Salazzle. I love that Salazzle Zygarde combination. I've been preaching that since KSL Season 3. Z Mismagius, Lantern, really nice Tier 5 Mon, Mega Alakazam, Skarmory, Cloyster, Hitmontop, and Rhydon. Yeah, I have this team a little higher than you guys, so I guess I'll sort of go into why that might be the case, since it's definitely me thinking this draft is better rather than me thinking the other drafts are worse. So let's look at like some of the combos he has on his team. So obviously he has the Scar and Bliss core, which like I think he has a really strong semi-stall team here, to be honest. Like a strong semi-stall element to his team. Like the Skarmory does. Like Zygarde really appreciates the more like methodical playstyle a lot, especially if you're running bulky or like substitute coil like, camouflage sets. But then like Spikes also really helps Bandit pick up those 2-hit KOs. And then like the Zygarde Salazzle combo is so potent with Salazzle just destroying all the grass and bug types that stand in Zygarde's way, as well as the fairies. Really being a nice utility attacker with like sub-toxic knockoff sets to help Zygarde win as well.
One thing
and then Zam's a really strong revenge killer for the team as well.
Also, I really like Mega Zam in this team because like the one thing I noticed that this team so much struggles against Heatran, and Mega Zam is a really good answer for that because of Trace. So it kind of helps Blizzard and Skarmory in the sense that his team doesn't just all lose to like a Stallbreaker Heatran with Mamoswine and Taunt.
Yeah, and then like the main downsides I'd say is he has kind of limited defensive options. Like you kind of know what his core is going to be, which can make it relatively easier to prep for.
He's basically Scar Bliss for the most part.
With some nice fillers and like Hitmontop and Rhydon. Fizdef Cloyster, I guess, is a set as well. Lantern's actually quite bulky. And one thing I do like is, a lot of those Pokemon are kind of held down by their lack of recovery, but Blissey is such a solid Wish Passer to go along with those.
That's true, yeah.
That's true.
And let's see. Also, his team, I feel, is somewhat setup dependent on the offensive side. Like, the thing is, like, Zam, Salazzle, and Zygarde can break with like choiced items, but to win the game, he's definitely counting on things like DD Zygarde, Calm Mind Zam, or Shell Smash Cloyster.
Kind of lacks a break. Yeah, I think this team kind of lacks a breaker for the most part. I think I would appreciate something like that.
Yeah, I think the role of the breaker really falls on the Salazzle here.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I think it can perform, but there probably were better options. Like Mismagius, I guess, as well with Nasty Plot, with the Z move can break as well. I think that's probably something we're somewhat overlooking here. And then the other main issue is it's somewhat fighting weak. rather fighting weak actually, since the Psychic type is Zam, the Ghost is Mismagius, both physically frail. The Fairy is Whimsicott, and then the Poison type is Salazzle. Like, very strong fighting types are going to be a major issue for this team. Like, Skarmory can beat a lot of fighting types, but like, SD fighting types specifically are going to give a lot of headaches. And you look up Pokemon like Mega Gallade, and you look at this team, like Shadow Sneak for Zam.
Pyro's gonna 6-0 this team. Watch it.
Alright. I think we're... Do you have anything else to say, Blaze?
Sorry. No. I'm back. I'm sorry. No. All I was really gonna say was what you pointed out with the big fighting weakness, which is why I ranked it at 5th. It's one of the things, but.
So in 3rd, you have Hado, who's bringing the coming in as the Houston Honchkrows this time. I love this throwback to his old logo.
He's my boy.
Getting 4th from myself and 3rd from all the other analysts. A roster of Jirachi, Z Hydreigon, Z Ribombee, Swampert, Cryogonal, Pinsir, Mega Venusaur, Gliscor, Darmanitan, Licky, and Lycanroc Day. You want to start us off, please?
Yeah. I mean, off the bat, I really kind of like the synergy of this team. He has a lot of nice kind of cores and stuff with the Jirachi, Hydreigon, Ribombee. It's a little... The first thing I noticed was a tad bit fighting weak, possibly. Following Mega Venusaur and Pinsir, and he has Double Bug.
Gliscor.
But but yeah, as I said earlier, Hydreigon's one of my favorite dark types, so shout out to him.
Yeah, this team's
Another thing I noticed about is
he's got like really good defensive synergy between his Pokemon.
He said Jirachi was a comfort pick for him, so hopefully he'll feel pretty good going into week 1.
I mean, I know Hado, he spams Juta in most of his games. So
hey, at least we didn't let Cinna in here and let him draft Cobalion.
That's true.
I swear, if I'm ever in another league with him, I'm taking Cobalion with my 1st overall, so he doesn't get it.
But I really like this team defensive synergy, like Jirachi, Swampert, Mega Venusaur, Gliscor, and Licky. It's kind of hard to break that team, and I guess even Hydreigon can be kind of defensive in a sense in some matches.
Yeah, and he does have the double wish support as well between Jirachi and Licky.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I think like wish support is something that's really neat to pair with Mega Venusaur as a Pokemon that sometimes gets chipped down with momentum between like hazards and Volt Turn. It'd be very nice to heal it up and maintain some momentum. What else to say about Hada? He doesn't have a fighting type, which can be somewhat of an issue. Leaves him a little weaker to dark types. You'll see his dark resists are Ribombee, which is not very bulky, and Hydreigon.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah,
and it also will make it somewhat difficult for him to break steel types. Wait, does he have a... he does have a fire type, it's Darmanitan.
Yeah, Darmanitan.
Good boy. His removal is kind of limited to Cryogonal and Gliscor for the most part. Like, I mean, you can run
Hydra gets Hydra's a pretty good defogger.
Yeah, Hydra does get defog, yeah.
And I think Ribombee gets defog as well.
Yeah.
It does.
And having webs with a spinner option as well and Cryo is also pretty nice.
Yeah, but I do think that Gliscor is somewhat hampered into the role of the defogger for the most part. And then probably, I guess Swampert's a pretty good rocker as well, to not make Jirachi be rocks every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be like a really bulky, honestly, it's like semi-stall team in how it plays, or like defensive balanced, and he's going to win with his bulk most of the time.
Yeah.
Like this team is
The
kind
bulk
of
and the
lacking
hack
in
from
offensive
Jirachi.
win conditions, bar quiver dance for Bombi, and like clenching people down with Jirachi.
True. I'd like to see a Scarf Moxie pincer sweep one week. I almost got pincer, but then I was like, ooh, I could get hair cross.
I forget, does Pincer get defog or stealth rock?
Get stealth rock.
Stealth rock, yeah.
Stop.
Best rocker right there.
Default pins.
Defog Mega Pincer. Big brain.
Oh, the heat.
It's a tech.
The big replay.
Alright. I think we're ready to move on to second.
Yeah. I think you should move on now.
I know these people are like, who's gotta be first? Is it gonna be me? And I gotta say to one of
It's
you,
gonna be you.
yeah, and to one of you, unfortunately, no ties this time.
No ties.
Second, we have the rookie, Alec G and the Wisconsin Warlords. I mean, congrats
Yeet.
on having such a high-ranked draft. I don't know if you might have had help, you know. JK. Yeah, he got some help. He has some good ideas. He's getting second place from all of us.
Yeah.
He's got Mew, Magnezone, Alola Muck, Decidueye, Zia Selgor, Hitmonchan, Mega Diancie, Seismitoad, Typhlosion, Z Dragonite, and Chinchino. I've used like almost all of these Pokemon.
Yeah, Mew and Decidueye and Chinchino,
The first
all Hall
four.
of Famers.
Cixino, yeah.
Yeah, I really like some of the cores on this team, namely Mew plus Alola Muck. That's my season 2 core right there. Really helps Mew into an offensive role. And then Mega Diancie, Dragonite, Magnezone is a fantastic Fairy Dragon Steel core.
Yeah.
Like
I
Zone
really
puts
love
in
the
so much work to
wording
enable
of it.
both of those offensive threats, and then Mega Diancie with the Magic Bounce to help maintain Dragonite's multi-skill.
Multi-skill.
Yeah, Dragonite gets multi-skill. Some great budget picks on this team, between like Hitmonchan, Chinchino is pretty good for a tier 4, honestly.
It is.
Pretty decent removal in support of the D-Knight between Mew, Decidueye, Hitmonchan, and Magic Bounce Mega Diancie.
Yeah. This
Like those are some really solid removers right there.
This and Hado's team just look fun to play with.
Yeah.
Odin confirmed not a fan of D-Knight.
But he agrees. His Fairy Dragon Steel core is really strong here. Some things I would have liked to see from his team would probably be a little more pressure on Steel types. Like
Typhlosion, I mean,
like Zone puts in a lot of work for this team though. Yeah, like
it does.
having Mega Diancie and D-Knight and then his fire and fighting types be pretty low tier is like they're mons that can perform though. Like I could definitely see them doing work, but like he chose a different route to deal with steel types with Magnezone, which I can respect, but it is something to consider.
Yeah, I feel like he's really depending on Magnezone to win some of his game.
Yeah, and I feel like Mew might be forced into a physically defensive role more often than it would like. He's got some good special bulk options between things like Alola Muck, Decidueye, and Hitmonchan, but
Yeah, we see that.
the physical bulk's basically Mew and Toad, and like defensive Dragonite.
Maybe so.
Defensive Dragonite's like not a joke, by the way. That's a good set.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember running Rocky Helmet Dragonite to deal with Mega Kangaskhan.
That's some tech right there.
Yeah, I had Flamethrower for Ferrothor and an Ice Beam for Gligar. It was great. With an E-Speed to get
hey,
chip on
that's
Coco.
me. That's me.
Yup.
I remember that.
Oh,
I
what
don't
a
think
set,
it
what
ever
a
happened
set.
against me because I lost to Mega Slowbro.
Oh god, Mega Slowbro had 5 kills that game.
Yeah. Oh.
How does Mega Slowbro
Well,
get 5 kills
this
against a
is
team with
bad memories.
Hydreigon and Tapu Koko? Who knows?
You give me bad memories.
Anyways, anything else to say? D-Knight's a great Z captain. Salgor is pretty nice for a tier 4 Z captain. So I don't know if Z Hyper Beam will be the set. Probably it's gonna be Z Mud Slap, so you can miss out on KOs on Neoligo.
Yeah, it does kill us anyway. If only got dig.
Yeah. Anyways, first overall, if you pay a lot of attention, you know who it is already. But it's gonna be another newcomer to the league. A guy who has a grammatical error in his team logo. It's gonna be none other than Shori and the Chicago Blues. It's a completely unnecessary apostrophe in his logo. Getting first overall from everybody, rocking a roster of Clefable, Suicune, Delmise, Zdragalgi, Blaziken, Raichu, Mega Pinsir, Excadrill, Z Torrent Greninja, Xatu, and Baby Hippo. Hippopotas.
So the first, the Hippopotas. So I really like how this team supports Mega Pinsir for the most part. Like with Sand, Escadrille, Delmise, Ramusa has his way. I think Blaziken also gets Deeper, right? And he also has Magic Bounce. And then he has some other stuff like T-Spike, Gouge, and Clefable also deals some of the answers Mega Pinsir dislikes. And Suicune being Suicune, of course.
Yeah,
So,
T-Spikes with Suicune is so nasty.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, this team, I feel like it can really effectively be a very offensive lineup with threats like, the Greninja, the Mega Pinsir, the Excadrill and Sand, something like Specs, Dragalge, Banded, Delmise, like offensive Suicune. But then it also does such a good job at playing a very defensive style with that Clefable, like Bulky Clef, Bulky Suicune, Bulky Delmise, Xatu, Baby Hippo, even like things like Spadef, Excadrill be pretty effective. I feel like he really does have a team that can take advantage of some of the defensive utility that his more traditionally thought of as offensive mons can bring.
Not yet. Hippo was the sole reason this team is first.
Everyone is talking trash when he drafted it, but here he is.
Baby Hippo OP, yeah, you're right. Let's say, really great speed control options on this team. T-Wave Clef, Nuzzle and T-Wave Raichu, Sand Rush Excadrill, some good priority users with Mega Pinsir, Greninja. Yeah. He's got really good fairy killers on his team as well, between the Dragalge, the Excadrill, and the what else? The Delmise as well. Like really puts a lot of pressure on defensive fairy types. Something a lot of teams can't struggle is to beat defensive fairies. Though he does have like one of the most notoriously unkillable ones on his team. What'd you say? Oh yeah, Drill is the only fairy resist. But he does put a lot of offensive pressure on fairies, so that can help him in some of those matchups.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's got really good fighting checks on his team between things like Clef, Suicune, Delmise, Xatu.
Even something like Xatu can probably do that.
Yeah, just Excadrill plus Mega Pinsir is such a strong offensive core.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, ouch.
Yeah.
Who the hell?
Supreme.
Hey, the Hippo plays a decent role on this team, and it's not the first time we've seen it.
Riley.
Zach did draft it
It's not
in
the first
season 3.
time.
Yeah, this
But
team.
it did get removed pretty early.
Yeah, when Zach left, it got removed. It was there the whole time Zach was there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, Shori, really good draft, I'd say. This would definitely be towards the higher end of the Quagsire draft, which is one compliment to Shori, but also I think, you know, it's easier to draft a broken team when the other people drafting with you aren't as good at drafting. To be fair, like don't go too hard on the Quag folks for not having as good of a team as Shori. You know. Anyways, R.I.P. Xaver.
Yep.
Xavier is there.
Anyways,
He's not here with us.
We'll have him react to this whole video and film it.
so that's gonna be all, I think. Thank you all for tuning in. Really enjoyed this. Really chill stream this time. And, oh yeah, and Blaze is going to be doing the Gastrodon Power Rankings.
Yes. Can't wait.
Yeah, we gotta teach him how to use OBS. It's gonna be lit, because I'm just finding out how to do that myself.
Yeah, I gotta watch that video you sent me.
Alright, thanks everybody. Take care.
And goodbye.
Bye.